Ladies and gentlemen, friends and dreamers, let me ask you something real. How many times did you say, next year will be my year, and then life knocked you down again? How many times did you promise yourself you would change, but stayed stuck in the same habits, same fears, same excuses? Listen to me carefully. 2026 is not just another year. It is a decision year, a year where you stop surviving and start rebuilding. Because rebuilding yourself doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're brave enough to start again. Before anything can change, you have to be willing to tell yourself the truth. Not the edited version, not the excuse-filled version, not the one that blames people, circumstances, or bad luck. Real rebuilding begins the moment you stop running from reality and decide to face it head on. Many people want a new year to magically fix their lives, but years don't change people. Decisions do. And the first decision in rebuilding yourself in 2026 is radical honesty. Look at where you are right now, not where you hoped you'd be, not where you told people you were going, where you actually are. Your habits, your finances, your health, your mindset, your relationships, these are not accidents. They are results. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It means your current life is giving you feedback. And feedback is not meant to shame you. It's meant to guide you. Too many people waste years arguing with reality. They say things like, if only I had more time, if only people supported me, or if only life was fair. But fairness has nothing to do with growth. Life doesn't respond to excuses. It responds to ownership. The moment you stop saying, this happened to me, and start saying, this is where I am, you take back your power. Responsibility is not a burden. It's freedom. Because once you own your position, you can change your direction. Accepting reality also means admitting what isn't working. Some habits feel comfortable but are quietly destroying progress. Some routines look harmless but are stealing potential. Some people in your life are familiar, but familiarity is not the same as alignment. Rebuilding requires the courage to say, this version of me is no longer acceptable. That statement is not self-hate, it's self-respect. There is strength in saying, I didn't show up the way I should have. There is growth in saying, I avoided discipline. There is maturity in saying, I wasted time. These admissions don't weaken you. They clear the ground so something stronger can be built. You cannot rebuild on denial. Denial cracks foundations. Honesty strengthens them. Many people fear accepting reality because they think it means accepting defeat. It doesn't. It means accepting responsibility. And responsibility gives you control. When you accept where you are, you stop waiting for rescue. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for permission. You realize that no one is coming to save you, and that realization is the beginning of greatness. In 2026, rebuilding yourself means dropping the story that keeps you stuck, the story that says you're too late, too damaged, too far behind. Reality is this: as long as you are breathing, you are not done. As long as you are willing to learn, you can grow. As long as you can admit the truth, you can change the outcome. Look at your life without judgment, but with clarity. This is not about beating yourself up for what you didn't do. It's about waking yourself up to what must be done next. Acceptance is not surrender. Acceptance is the starting line. From that point forward, every step becomes intentional, every choice becomes strategic, and every effort becomes meaningful. Rebuilding yourself starts the moment you stop pretending and start preparing. Face the truth, own the moment, and stand firm in the knowledge that where you are today is not where you are required to stay. Rebuilding yourself requires courage because growth always asks for separation. You cannot move forward while dragging the weight of what no longer fits. Many people want a new life but insist on keeping the same habits, the same mindset, and the same environment. That doesn't work. Change demands release. Not everything that feels familiar is meant to follow you into your future, and not everything you're used to is good for you. Letting go is difficult because it feels like loss. It can feel like betrayal, loneliness, or fear of the unknown. But what most people don't realize is that holding on to what no longer serves you is the real loss. It costs you time, energy, confidence, and growth. When you refuse to let go, you're not protecting yourself. You're limiting yourself. Rebuilding begins when you decide that comfort is no longer more important than progress. Some habits must be released because they quietly sabotage your potential. Habits of procrastination, overthinking, scrolling endlessly, avoiding responsibility, or numbing yourself with distractions may not look destructive on the surface, but over time, they drain your momentum. These habits don't just waste hours, they weaken discipline. And without discipline, rebuilding becomes impossible. Letting go of these behaviors is not about punishment, it's about protecting your future. Letting go also applies to people. Not everyone in your life is meant to grow with you. Some people are connected to your past, not your purpose. They may not be bad people, but they are comfortable with the old version of you. When you change, they may resist, criticize, or distance themselves. This is where many people stop growing. They choose acceptance over alignment. But alignment matters more than approval. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You need to respect it yourself. There is also an internal letting go that must happen. You have to release old identities, old labels, old beliefs about who you are. If you keep seeing yourself as the person who failed, who always falls short, who never finishes, you will keep rebuilding the same broken structure. Growth requires you to mentally step away from the version of you that no longer matches your vision. You are not your worst mistake. You are not your past patterns. You are not the limits others placed on you. Rebuilding also means letting go of unrealistic expectations. Progress will not be fast or glamorous. There will be lonely seasons where no one applauds your effort. There will be days where discipline feels heavy and results feel invisible. Let go of the idea that change should be easy. When you release that expectation, you stop quitting prematurely. You begin to understand that struggle is not a sign you're failing. It's proof that you're building something new. Many people fear letting go because they don't yet see what's coming next. But growth doesn't work that way. You don't release after you feel safe. You release to become stronger. Clarity often comes after commitment, not before it. When you let go of what's holding you back, you create space for new habits, new connections, new confidence, and new opportunities to enter your life. Rebuilding yourself in 2026 will require hard decisions. Decisions to walk away, to say no, to change routines, and to redefine standards. These decisions may be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. You cannot elevate while clinging to what keeps you grounded. Let go, not because it's easy, but because staying the same is far more costly than the discomfort of growth. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action, but rebuilding yourself does not work that way. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes based on mood, circumstance, and comfort. Discipline, on the other hand, does not depend on how you feel. Discipline depends on a decision. And if 2026 is going to be the year you truly rebuild yourself, discipline must become stronger than emotion. There will be days when you feel tired, uninspired, and unsure of yourself. There will be days when quitting feels easier than continuing. If your progress depends on motivation, those days will stop you every time. But discipline shows up even when enthusiasm is gone. Discipline says, I will do what needs to be done, even when I don't feel like it. That mindset separates people who change their lives from people who keep starting over. Discipline is not about being extreme or perfect. It is about consistency. Small actions done daily rebuild lives over time. Waking up on time, keeping promises to yourself, completing tasks even when no one is watching, choosing effort over excuses. These actions may feel insignificant in the moment, but they compound. Discipline builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. When you repeatedly show up for yourself, you begin to trust yourself again. Many people misunderstand discipline and see it as punishment. It's not. Discipline is self-respect in action. It is you deciding that your future matters more than your comfort in the present moment. Every time you choose discipline, you are voting for the person you want to become. Every discipline choice is a brick laid in the foundation of your rebuilt life. Rebuilding also requires structure. Without structure, discipline fades. Clear routines reduce decision fatigue and remove excuses. When you decide in advance when you will work, train, learn, or rest, you eliminate the daily debate that leads to procrastination. Structure creates freedom. It allows you to operate with clarity instead of chaos. You don't have to feel ready. You just follow the system. Discipline also means learning to do the uncomfortable things repeatedly, making the difficult phone call, having the honest conversation, saying no when you want to please, starting before you feel confident, finishing even when progress is slow. Growth lives in discomfort, and discipline keeps you there long enough to improve. Comfort, if left unchecked, quietly erodes ambition. Another part of discipline is delayed gratification. Rebuilding yourself requires patience. You won't see immediate results for every effort you make. Some days will feel like you're working hard with nothing to show for it. Discipline teaches you to keep going anyway. It trains you to value long-term progress over short-term pleasure. People who rebuild successfully understand that temporary sacrifice carves each permanent strength. Discipline also strengthens identity. When you repeatedly act in alignment with your goals, you stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who does. That shift is powerful. Confidence stops being something you chase and becomes something you earn. You don't need to hype yourself up when your actions speak for you. In 2026, rebuilding yourself will not be about waiting for the perfect moment or the right feeling. It will be about choosing discipline daily, on good days and bad days, in silence and in struggle. Discipline will carry you when motivation disappears. And if you stay consistent long enough, motivation will eventually catch up with the life you're building. Rebuilding yourself in 2026 isn't just about changing your habits, your schedule, or your environment. It starts in your mind. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. Everything you see in your life today began in your mind first. Your successes, your failures, your patterns, and your limitations. If you want a different outcome this year, if you want a stronger, rebuilt version of yourself, you must first rebuild your mindset. Change must begin in how you think before it ever shows up in your life. Many people underestimate the power of their internal dialogue. They allow self-doubt, fear, and old limiting beliefs to dictate their actions. They think, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this. These thoughts act like invisible chains that hold you back from growth. Rebuilding yourself requires noticing these chains and breaking them deliberately. You cannot allow mental habits from your past to sabotage the person you're trying to become. The first step in rebuilding your mind is awareness. Pay attention to the recurring thoughts in your head. What are you telling yourself every day? Are your thoughts fueling courage, growth, and resilience, or are they feeding excuses, fear, and procrastination? Once you become aware of your internal dialogue, you gain the power to change it. Thoughts are not facts. You are not trapped by the story you've been telling yourself. Unless you choose to be, rebuilding your mindset also requires a shift in belief systems. Many people fail because they still operate under beliefs that no longer serve them. Beliefs like, I've missed my chance, success is for other people, not me, or I always fail are not truths. They are patterns you can reprogram. Replace these beliefs with empowering statements that align with the version of yourself you want to become. Beliefs drive action. If your mind believes change is possible, your behavior will follow. If it doesn't, your actions will remain inconsistent and progress will stall. Your environment influences your thoughts too. The people you surround yourself with, the media you consume, and the habits you allow into your life shape how you think. To rebuild your mind, you must be intentional about your mental diet. Consume content that uplifts and educates. Surround yourself with people who inspire growth and challenge excuses. Remove influences that drain motivation or reinforce negative thinking. Your mind is like a garden. What you plant, water, and tend will grow. Neglect it or fill it with weeds, and it will suffocate your potential. Another critical part of mindset is perspective. Life will always have setbacks, mistakes, and disappointments. How you interpret these moments determines whether you remain stuck or move forward stronger. Instead of viewing challenges as proof that you cannot succeed, see them as lessons, feedback, and opportunities to grow. A resilient mind transforms obstacles into stepping stones. It does not deny struggle. It uses struggle as a tool for progress. Rebuilding your mind also requires intentional focus. So many people allow distractions, comparisons, and unnecessary worries to dominate their thinking. They get pulled into endless loops of what others are doing or what might go wrong, and they lose sight of what they can control. Rebuilding means training your mind to focus on what matters most, your goals, your values, and the actions that move you closer to the person you want to become. Rebuilding your mindset is about identity. How you see yourself internally will eventually manifest externally. If you constantly tell yourself, I am capable, I am resilient, I am growing, eventually your actions, choices, and results will align with those words. The mind doesn't just influence life, it creates life. In 2026, before you try to fix your schedule, your finances, or your relationships, fix your mind first. Shape your thoughts, guard your beliefs, and cultivate a mindset that matches the life you are determined to build. When your mind is rebuilt, your life will inevitably follow. The strongest version of you begins in your head. Change your mind and everything else changes with it. Pain is inevitable. Everyone experiences it. Everyone goes through seasons where life seems unfair. Setbacks happen and dreams feel out of reach. But rebuilding yourself in 2026 requires a mindset shift. You must stop seeing pain as a roadblock and start seeing it as a tool. Pain is not your enemy. It is a teacher. Every difficult moment, every mistake, every heartbreak, every failure contains a lesson designed to shape you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Most people fear pain because they misunderstand it. They see it as proof that something went wrong, that life is against them, or that they are weak. But pain is neutral. It does not define you. What defines you is what you do with it. Some people experience the exact same challenges and let them crush their spirit. Others experience those challenges and allow them to fuel their comeback. The difference is perspective. Pain becomes power when you use it intentionally. Your past struggles are not waste. They are preparation. Every disappointment, every rejection, and every failure has been building resilience in you. Even if you didn't notice it at the time, rebuilding yourself means recognizing that those experiences, as difficult as they were, gave you tools, insights, and strength you didn't have before. They taught you patience, persistence, and self-awareness. They forced you to confront your weaknesses and develop courage. Pain, when acknowledged and used wisely, becomes the foundation for personal growth. Turning pain into purpose also requires forgiveness of yourself and others. Holding on to bitterness, regret, or anger keeps you stuck. Every negative emotion is a weight that prevents you from moving forward. Rebuilding yourself means letting go of the grudges, the self-blame, and the stories that tell you that you are broken or undeserving. Forgiveness does not erase the past, but it frees you to build the future. Once you release what no longer serves you, you create space for strength, focus, and determination to enter your life. Another key to transforming pain into purpose is reflection. Look back at the moments that hurt you the most. What did they teach you? What lessons did you gain that others might never understand? Every challenge, every failure, every heartbreak contains a gift if you are willing to extract it. The pain itself is temporary, but the wisdom it offers is permanent. By understanding the lessons hidden in your struggles, you convert emotional suffering into practical growth. Rebuilding yourself also means taking action with the lessons from pain. It is not enough to acknowledge your struggles. You must actively use them as fuel. Let every disappointment remind you why you are rebuilding. Let every failure remind you to prepare better. Let every heartbreak remind you to value your own strength and vision. Purpose turns pain into a roadmap, guiding your choices, habits, and mindset toward the person you are meant to become. Some of the most powerful success stories are rooted in pain. People who have fallen harder often rise stronger. Pain humbles, teaches, and clarifies. It shows you what matters and what doesn't. It tests your limits and proves your resilience. The individuals who succeed in life are not the ones who avoided pain. They are the ones who embraced it, learned from it, and refused to let it stop them. In 2026, stop running from your pain. Stop wishing it didn't exist. Instead, confront it, understand it, and convert it into purpose. Your struggles are not accidents. They are preparation for the next version of yourself. The pain you experienced yesterday can become the fuel for your strength tomorrow. Every setback can become the springboard for a comeback. When you learn to turn pain into purpose, you no longer just survive life, you transform it. Rebuilding yourself in 2026 begins with embracing your pain, learning its lessons, and using it as the catalyst to propel you forward. What tried to break you is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your power. Your past struggles are the blueprint for your future greatness. The stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself is waiting on the other side of pain. All you have to do is use it. Rebuilding yourself in 2026 is not about perfection. Too many people fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect moment to start, or they believe that every step they take must be flawless. The truth is, perfection is an illusion, and chasing it only keeps you stuck. Rebuilding yourself requires commitment to the process, not to the outcome. It requires showing up every day, even when results are slow, even when progress feels invisible, and even when you feel like quitting. Consistency, not perfection, is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Many people quit too soon because they expect instant success. They believe that if their actions do not yield immediate results, something must be wrong. But rebuilding is not a sprint. It is a marathon. It is a steady, deliberate, and sometimes uncomfortable journey. You may stumble, you may fail, you may feel frustrated, but every small step you take, every choice you make in alignment with your goals, compounds over time. Growth rarely happens in a single moment. It happens in the accumulation of small, disciplined actions repeated day after day. Commitment to the process means embracing patience. You will not see the rebuilt version of yourself overnight. The changes you want, whether mindset, habits, health, relationships, or finances, take time to manifest. Impatience is the enemy of progress. When you commit to the process, you learn to trust the unseen work. You understand that each day, even when it feels insignificant, is building towards something greater. Success is a product of persistence, not luck. Another important aspect of committing to the process is embracing imperfection. You will make mistakes. You will fall short of your own expectations. You will encounter setbacks that test your resolve. This is normal. In fact, setbacks are essential because they teach resilience, reveal gaps in strategy, and help you grow stronger. Committing to the process means forgiving yourself for mistakes, learning from them, and continuing forward without letting failure define you. Each stumble is not the end. It is a stepping stone toward mastery. Consistency is the backbone of commitment. It is not about grand gestures. It is about showing up when no one is watching. It is about honoring your goals, even when motivation fades. Discipline becomes the mechanism that drives commitment forward. When you stay consistent, even in small ways, you are proving to yourself that you are serious about rebuilding. Every repeated effort builds momentum, and momentum is what eventually carries you past the moments when quitting seems easiest. committing to the process also means trusting yourself. Many people abandon their goal, LS, because they doubt their ability to succeed. They think, maybe I'm not capable, or maybe I'm not meant for this. Rebuilding requires belief in your capacity to grow. It requires confidence that your consistent effort will pay off, even if you cannot yet see the results. Trusting yourself allows you to remain steadfast even when the journey is difficult. Another key element of commitment is focus. Life will always present distractions, temptations, and competing priorities. Committing to the process means keeping your eyes on what matters most, not what feels convenient or immediately gratifying. It means saying no to what does not serve your growth and yes to what builds your future. Focus allows you to maintain progress even when external circumstances are challenging or chaotic. Finally, committing to the process means understanding that the rebuilt version of yourself is worth every sacrifice. You will invest time, energy, and effort into things that may not yield immediate rewards, but the long-term payoff is immeasurable. Rebuilding yourself in 2026 requires persistence, patience, and resilience. The key is not to wait for the perfect moment or flawless performance. It is to commit to showing up, to doing the work, and to trusting that the process will transform you. Perfection will never come, but progress will. The stronger, wiser, and more capable version of you is built not in one dramatic leap, but in steady, consistent effort. When you commit to the process rather than perfection, you unlock the power to rebuild your life step by step, day by day. 2026 is your year, not because it promises perfection, but because it rewards commitment.